So that's a summary of phase one. Kind of starting off with your business strategy, your keyword research, your site architecture, your conversion rates, your viral coefficient, focusing on your visitor tracking. So it's a different area to focus on every week for the first 6 weeks or so. And it's important, go through it in that order, get everything absolutely right in your website structure to begin with, because if you do that, it's a fantastic base to begin with. And unless you get your structure right, that's a summary of the website structure there. Unless you get your structure right, you're just pouring, bad money after bad in terms of internet marketing, because your conversion rates could be bad. You're maybe driving the wrong traffic at your site. So you need to get that absolutely right to begin with. As I say, that's phase one. Does anyone have any questions in relating to phase one? Hiya.
You mentioned above the fold. Can you clarify again what that means and how it affects your internet marketing?
Yeah, above the fold, cover that very briefly. What that basically means is that don't let your users have to scroll to actually find the important stuff on your website. If people actually have to scroll down in order to maybe actually you've got a form that needs a lot of information, and then you've got the submit button at the bottom. People perhaps might even not be aware that they've got to press submit. So have as much as possible above the fold. If they do have to fill in information like that, maybe get their name and email address to begin with, press submit. You've got their data, you've got everything recorded in your autoresponder, and perhaps the next page you can request address or other contact details after that. Another thing to bear in mind with above the fold is, this is regarding maybe pay-per-click campaigns or other campaigns for actually focusing on users landing on different pages on your website apart from your home page. If you want your website, your visitors to land on very specific pages and just maybe fill in a form, then it's good practice to actually take away some navigation, take away some options from people. Because if you give people too many options, they're not going to actually do the option that you really want them to do. So for certain landing pages and for improving your conversion rates, try just having maybe your logo, an explanation of what you're about, your heading on your page, and then just exactly what you want people to do. And that's a way of actually above the fold improving your conversion rates.
I hear a lot about meta tags. Could you talk a little bit about them, please?
Yes. Now, meta tags, have a history. Meta tags, there are a few different types of meta tags. The one that I really focused on was meta description, which is the description that's displayed in search engine results underneath your page title. And that's really an important one in terms of conversion rates from search engines. There's another one called the meta keywords tag. But to be honest with you, search engines have stopped really analysing that in terms of actually trying to determine the relevance of a web page because so many people were abusing it. So many people were just whacking in whatever's appropriate or whatever search for a day or for a month, or just irrelevant terms. So that happened really when Google kind of first started. Then the meta keywords tag was on the way out. Back in, again, the late 90s, the most popular search engine was probably Alta Vista. And what Alta Vista did was and other search engines at the time, was analyse the meta keywords tag in order to determine the relevance of each web page and try to rank web pages according to that. And of course, people stuffed whatever they wanted to in meta keywords tag, and search results weren't very good at all because people just stuffed whatever they wanted in there. But what Google did when they actually kind of came to the market was actually they brought in a completely different algorithm in terms of the way they analysed how websites were popular, and they counted the amount of links that pointed to a website and the relevance of those links and the text that contained within those links. So because of that, the meta keywords tag is largely irrelevant, but it may be worthwhile including a couple of keyword phrases within that still at the moment. There's probably a couple of smaller search engines that still count it, but it's fairly irrelevant at the moment.
I've heard that all you had to do was type in the words that you wanted to appear for these meta tags to appear in your search engine. So if I sold Hoovers, I could include the word Dyson.
But really, if you actually include words in your meta keywords that aren't included within your website, you're in danger of search engines at some point thinking that you're trying to game the system. So, you may have a tiny, tiny chance, if anything, of actually that working. But, the fact that, say that Dyson word isn't actually included in the rest of your website, basically tells search engines, well, that page is obviously not about that at all, so we're not going to rank it for that. So, that's why I was going through the different areas, your title tag, your heading tags, your content a little bit, and your navigation, that's where your keyword phrases do make a big difference with search engines.